Welcome back, beautiful souls. I am a little bit under the weather, so if you're wondering why you haven't seen me on social in the past 24 hours, that is why. Also, been very super busy, but welcome back. Today, we're entering chapter 7 of Becoming Supernatural, and this one feels sacred. It's titled Heart Intelligence. And in this first section, we're going to understand that the heart is more than just a muscle, it's a brain, a bridge, and a divine signal all its own. Dr. Joe teaches that true coherence, the emotional alignment that allows us to heal and manifest, all starts in the heart, not just physically, but energetically. In this part, we'll explore what it really means to live heart centered and why the heart might be the most intelligent compass we have. If that sounds good to you, stay tuned as we get into chapter 7, Heart Intelligence. Since our human ancestors first began etching their histories upon cave walls and stone tablets, like a thread through the needle of time, the heart has appeared as a symbol to represent health, wisdom, intuition, guidance, and higher intelligence. The ancient Egyptians, who referred to the heart as the Ib, believed the heart rather than the brain was the center of life and the source of human wisdom. The Mesopotamians, Meso, yeah, the Mesopotamians and the Greeks both thought of the heart as the center of the soul. The Greeks, however, considered it an independent source of heat within the body, while the Mesopotamians believed, I think I said that right, believed it was a fragment of the sun's heat. They even performed human sacrifices whereby they extracted a still beating human heart to offer to the sun god. The Romans understood the heart to be the body's most life giving vital organ. By the way, can we talk about how barbaric that is that they sacrifice other humans just to take out their heart and offer it to the gods? I don't know. So glad we've evolved in a lot of ways. In the 17th century, during the early years of the scientific revolution, French philosopher Rene Descartes argued that the mind and body were two radically distinct substances. Through this mechanistic view of the universe, people began to view the heart as an extraordinary machine. The mechanisms of the heart as a physical pump began to overshadow its nature as humanity's connection to an innate intelligence. Through scientific inquiry, the heart slowly ceased to be recognized as our connection to feelings, emotions, and our higher selves. It has only been through the new science of the last few decades that we began to reconcile, understand, and recognize the true significance of the heart, both as a source that generates electromagnetic fields and as our connection to the unified fields. We know that the heart, beyond its obvious role in sustaining life, is not simply a muscular pump that moves blood throughout the body, but an organ capable of influencing feelings and emotions. Let me turn the book this way. There we go. The heart is understanding a sensory organ. I'm sorry, the heart is a sensory organ that guides our decision making ability as well as our understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. It's a symbol that transcends time, place, and culture. It's a commonly accepted premise that when we are connected to the heart's inner knowing, we can tap into its wisdom as a source of love and higher guidance. You may well be wondering, why is it that out of all the organs in the body, such as the spleen, the liver, or kidneys, the heart is the only one to have intelligence? Since 2013, we've gone to great lengths to measure and quantify coherence and transformation, which are central to understanding the heart's role. Almost everyone recognizes that the elevated feelings of the heart connected to us, I'm sorry, connects us to the consciousness of love, compassion, gratitude, joy, unity, acceptance, and selflessness. These are feelings that fill us up and make us feel whole and connected, rather than feeling the feelings of stress that divide communities and drain us of vital energy. The problem is that these elevated feelings of the heart often occur through chance, dependent upon something external in our environment, rather than as something we can produce for ourselves on demand. Without a doubt, it's a challenge to maintain our mental and emotional equilibrium in today's fast paced, stress filled, productivity focused, hurry up and finish culture, and the loss of its equilibrium can have serious ramifications for our health. For instance, at the turn of the 20th century, hardly anyone died from heart disease, while today it's the leading cause of death for both men and women. Each year in the United States alone, heart disease costs approximately 207 billion in healthcare services, medications, and lost productivity. Stress is one of the main contributing factors to heart disease, and it's reaching an epidemic level. Fortunately, there is an antidote. What we found in researching and studying the many facets of heart coherence is that we can, in fact, regulate our internal states independent of the conditions in our external environment. Just like developing any skill voluntarily, creating heart coherence requires knowledge, application, and practice, which what is what we've been doing. Integral to our understanding of the heart has been our partnership with the pioneering, groundbreaking work of the Heart Math Institute. HMI is a nonprofit research and education organization that works to better understand heart and brain coherence. Since 1991, HMI, Heart Math Institute, has researched and developed reliable, scientifically based tools to help people bridge the connection between their hearts and minds, as well as deepen their connection with the hearts of others. Their mission is to help people bring their physical, mental, and emotional systems into balance, alignment, through the intuitive guidance of the heart. The foundation of our partnership is built upon the shared belief that in order to create a future, a person needs to marry a clear intention, a coherent brain, with an elevated emotion, a coherent heart. HMI's research has proven that by combining an intention or thought, which, as you have read, acts as an electrical charge, with a feeling or an emotion, which you have already understand acts as a magnetic charge, we can charge our biological energy, and when we can change our biological energy, and when we change our energy, we change our lives. It's the union of these two elements that produces measurable effects on matter, moving our biology away from living in the familiar to living in a new future. At our workshops across the world, we teach our students to maintain and sustain these elevated states of being so they can cease living as victims of circumstances, swinging from one emotion to the next, and begin living as creators of their reality. This is the process whereby we create a new state of being or a new personality, which creates a new personal reality. For the past several years, one of the goals of our partnership with the HMI has been to teach our own students to intentionally regulate and sustain something called heart coherence. Like the regular beating of a drum, heart coherence refers to the physiological function of the heart that causes it to beat in a consistent, rhythmic, orderly manner. The opposite, when it's not operating in an orderly manner, is heart incoherence. When we are in heart coherence, we can access the heart's intelligence, which HMI defines as the following: the flow of awareness and insight that we experience once the mind and emotions are brought into balance and coherence through a self initiated process. This form of intelligence is experienced as direct, intuitive knowing that manifests in thought and emotions that are beneficial for ourselves and others. As you'll discover in this chapter, the benefits of heart coherence are numerous, including lowering blood pressure, improving the nervous system and hormonal balance, and improving brain function. When you maintain and sustain elevated emotional states, independent of conditions of your external environment, you can gain access to the kind of high level intuition that fosters a better understanding of yourself and others and helps prevent stressful patterns in your life, increases mental clarity, and promotes better decision making. In addition to HMI's research findings, our data strongly suggests that sustained centered emotions promote healthier gene expression. Heart coherence begins with a steady, coherent drumbeat of the heart through cultivating, practicing, and sustaining elevated emotions, such as emotions that include gratitude, appreciation, thankfulness, inspiration, freedom, kindness, selflessness, compassion, love, and joy, which are all the emotions we try to practice in reconditioning the body to a new mind meditation, if you remember. Um, the benefits of that coherent beat are felt throughout all systems of the body. Consciously or unconsciously, many of us practice feeling unhappy, angry, or fearful each day. That's the truth. So, why not practice creating and maintaining joyful, loving, altruistic states instead? Wouldn't that eventually create a new internal order, resulting in overall health and happiness? So it's not woo woo magic, y'all. It's literally science. These people are healing their bodies because they're understanding their bodies' chemistry, functioning, electromagnetic abilities, and they're changing their internal environment, which is obviously going to change everything for them internally. So the next section of this chapter is called the Heart Bridge. As you read in the chapter on blessing the energy centers, the heart, located right behind the breastbone, is the body's fourth energy center. It's our bridge to greater levels of awareness and energy, as well as the center where our divinity begins. The heart is the intersection of our lower three energy centers associated with the earthly body and our upper three energy centers associated with our higher self. It serves as our connection to the unified field and represents the unity of duality or polarity. It is where separation, division, and polarized energy merge to become one, where opposites unify as the yin and the yang, the good and the bad, positive and negative, male and female, past and future. When your heart becomes coherent, your nervous system responds by increasing the brain's energy, creativity, and intuition, which has a positive effect on virtually every single organ in the body. So, this is why a lot of people in this community like to practice heart coherence. Some of them will even do a heart coherence meditation. Now, the heart and the brain are working together, causing you to feel more whole, connected, and content, not only within your body, but also with everything and everybody. When you are in a heart centered state, the wholeness you feel consumes any feeling you might have, or I'm sorry, it consumes when you are in a heart centered state, the wholeness you feel consumes any feelings you may have of want and lack. From this creative state of wholeness and oneness, magic begins to happen in your life because you're no longer creating from duality or separation. You're no longer waiting for something outside you to provide relief from the internal feelings of lack, emptiness, or separation. Instead, you are becoming more familiar with your new ideal self and creating new experiences of yourself. If you keep activating your heart center properly enough times during the creative process each day, in time you will feel more like your future has already happened. How can you ever want or feel lack if you already feel whole? Best question ever. In the first three chapters, I'm sorry, in the first three centers, if the first three centers reflect our animal nature and are based on polarity, opposites, competition, need, and lack, the fourth center begins our journey to our divine nature. It's from within this heart center that our journey to our it's from within this heart center that we change our mind and energy from living in selfish states to living in selfless states. Then we feel less affected by separation or duality and are more prone to make choices for the greatest good of everyone. So, clearly, none of our leaders in America are heart centered individuals because they don't give a fuck about, excuse my language, they don't care about nothing but themselves and their politics. But when you start tapping into this kind of work, it changes the way you process your life. And of course, you become more aware and sensitive to the needs and the greatest goods of all, basically. And I could say that this definitely helped me in my personal life in this way. I've always been super caring, but like I feel like now I understand the bigger picture. So every single part plays a role towards the greatest good of all. At least that's how I process. All of us have felt the consciousness of the heart center at one time or another in our lives. This energy is related to being fulfilled and at peace with yourself and your surroundings. When we embrace the feelings related to the heart, feelings that lead us to give, nurture, serve, care, help, forgive, trust, and so on, we can't help but feel filled up, whole, and complete. I believe this to be our innate nature as human beings. Now, that actually concludes this part of chapter 7, part 1. If your mind has been trying to figure out how to shift your life, w- this chapter will definitely remind you that the wisdom is already in your body. And the gateway to this is through the heart. You're not just trying to think differently, You're learning to feel differently on purpose. So the field can respond with clarity, alignment, and more beauty. Meet me in part 2 of chapter 7.